In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge the forms and conventions of real media products? This is our short film, it's called Second Life. It fits into the genre of romantic comedy and uses a lot of conventions of that genre and short film. The first section of our film actually shows a montage section. This is commonly used in short film as there's not much time to show a lot of different scenes, so it like sums up a lot of what's happened in a long space of time. It all shows them getting ready. We put the credits actually in the film. There's a picture of Star Wars video. Our title is actually intertextuality, and this is a common convention of postmodern media. The appearance of our protagonist connotes geekiness and a sort of stereotype, and his costume and his setting connotes it's a comedy element.
We've used an effect of introducing the title as you would be typing it on the computer. The location that we've chosen to actually film the scenario, which is a first date, is very romantic and which will contrast the comedy element of the film.
One of the conventions is it focuses on a boy and a girl. They're both the protagonists in it, and we automatically assume that there's going to be romance between the two characters.
The typical scenario that we've used, which is a first date, is very common used in romantic films and also romantic comedy films, because in the scenario of a first date a lot of things can go wrong, and that is what is expected to happen in a comedy film. There's also very minimal dialogue in the film because we want to focus more on the actual event and include the comedy elements.
And this is very conventional of the genre of short film.
The first comedy element we see is that he cannot actually afford the food on the date.
It's typical in romantic comedy for one of the characters to act as a narrator for the audience, and we see the film through kind of their eyes. But we've developed this in a way that the protagonist is actually aware of the audience being there, and this creates comedy.
The minimal dialogue that is used, talking about the avatars, which is linked to how the couple first met, are on a website called Second Life. Also, we see a first sign of romance between the two, which indicates and connotes that there will be romance.
It's also conventional of the romantic comedy genre to have a kind of down on the luck protagonist. A lot of mishaps happen throughout the film. This creates comedy, and the male protagonist is constantly doing things wrong and having things happen to him. And this is very conventional. We see this in other romantic comedies such as Superbad, and even in Bridget Jones, the protagonist is very down on luck.
We show the female protagonist to be very alternative in her representation. With her costume, we assume that she is a very quiet, well-mannered and geeky character. It contrasts with the stereotypical female type when she finishes all the chips. We've used another montage section which sums up the date in various small clips.
It shows progression between the relationship between the two characters. It's quite conventional of the romantic comedy genre to include some unnatural elements. We've kind of developed this and included some unnatural transitions, especially in our montage section. This kind of connotes to the audience the light-hearted nature of the film, and another convention of short film is the directors and the filmmakers experimenting with different sort of effects in the film. We've again put this in for the montage section. We've put like a glow on the two characters to make it sort of like a dreamlike state.
And shows passing of time.
It's also a very conventional of short films to have the plot resolved at the end. This is included in our film. By the end of the film, the two characters are romantically linked, and you assume by the end of the film that they will be together romantically. There's also a kiss at the end, which
It's very typical of romantic comedies because it shows that the two characters eventually do connect and contrast the comedy elements and embarrassing elements that have happened previous in the film.
And it's also something that the audience kind of expects from a romantic comedy film. They're waiting for the two protagonists to kiss at the end of the film.